Thanks, Hunter. Let's get one more round of applause for our new scholars. How about that? Something special, huh? Congratulations. Very well done. And, of course, to our speakers, our presenters, really, really powerful stuff, powerful images, powerful videos. We thank you, too. So how about a round of applause for them, huh? It's nothing short of inspirational. Feels good, don't it, to be a part of this, to come together united in homage to a military hero, be a part of something, coming together as scholars, activists, advocates, hearing the words, being inspired right here in our nation's capital. It's what we're doing today. It's impressive. It's something. But I'm wondering about tomorrow. I have to ask, what's next? What do we do? Where do we go from here? In answer to this, I propose that we create a scenario. Let's look at what's next. Let's assume that in the near future, we Tillman scholars do what is expected of us. We go back to school, we get good grades, we enjoy the gracious scholarships endowed by the foundation, we find some time for community service, and soon after, we look for and obtain important employment. We work hard for our employers, we make good money, we take care of our families, and in what little free time we have left, we get out in our communities and we serve. We live as good citizens. To our elected officials, you are not excluded from this scenario. In the best traditions of a free and democratic government, you are and will be chosen by a popular majority to represent the people. You serve us at home and in our nation's capital. You sponsor legislation which serves your constituency. You champion ideas and the ideals of your respective political parties. You support veterans and veterans' families. You are a proud participant in the most revered system of government ever known to man. For that, we thank you. And life goes on for all of us accordingly. That could be our what's next. We could leave this conference thinking about the wonderful presentations we saw, inspiring speeches we heard. We remember the interesting and important people we met here in D.C. We conclude this Pat Tillman Legacy Summit with a warm feeling in our hearts and a head full of memories. Memories about the amazing person Pat Tillman was and how his legacy brought us together. And tomorrow we see Pat Tillman in the same way everyone sees him, as a man who gave everything, including what was sure to be a tremendous career in the National Football League, to quiet nights at home with a woman he loved more than life itself, and the relative safety afforded within our country's domestic borders in order to go serve in war. Leaving this conference with those thoughts could be our what's next. I propose we create another scenario. Indulge me for a second while I walk you through this. In this scenario, our tomorrow is atypical. In this scenario, we look at our what's next very differently, because in this scenario, we look at Pat Tillman differently. We stop looking at Pat Tillman as we know him, as the war hero who paid the ultimate price in service to his country. We no longer see him as a linebacker from Arizona State or a safety with the Arizona Cardinals. We don't look at him as the guy who walked away from millions of dollars to become an Army Ranger who served so honorably with the 75th Ranger Regiment in Iraq and Afghanistan. We stopped looking at Pat as a philosopher, as an avid and profound journal keeper, as a husband, as a son, and as a patriot. We even stopped looking at Pat as the namesake of our foundation, as the person whose legacy survives for no lesser purpose than to inspire us all to become something more than what we are. In this what's next, we stopped looking at Pat Tillman as a man. Doing as much unabashedly strips our scenario of all we have come to know about Pat Tillman. We effectively negate all the value of the aforementioned presentations and videos, all the things about his legacy which intend to inspire us. Doing as much is highly unconventional. I want to read you a piece of writing from someone who inspires me greatly. It goes as follows. Somewhere inside we hear a voice and intuitively know the answer to any problem or situation we encounter. Our voice leads us in the direction of the person we wish to become. But it is up to us whether or not to follow. More times than not, we are pointed in a predictable, straightforward, and seemingly positive direction. However, occasionally, we're directed down a different path entirely. Not necessarily a bad path, but a more difficult one. In my case, a path that many will disagree with, and more significantly, one that may cause a great deal of inconvenience to those I love. Despite this, however, I am equally positive that this new direction will, in the end, make our lives fuller, richer, and more meaningful. I love that piece very much. I think I love it so much because the writer purposely aims to defy the conventional. He talks about taking a difficult and completely different path. He talks about the naysayers who doubt the value of taking such a path. But most importantly, he speaks of the rich and intrinsic meaning of taking such a different path, not so much for the one walking it, but for those who will follow in his footsteps. Again, I ask, in this alternative, unconventional scenario which we've created, what remains? What do we have? Got to remind you, it is no longer Pat Tillman the man. His legacy is solidified. His service is renowned. All others see Pat in the way I'm asking you to stop seeing him. Rather, I'm asking you to see Pat Tillman in the way the writer of the aforementioned piece sees him, as an unconventional human being. His spirit of service defied convention. He had the guts to do it all differently, to ignore everyone and everything conventional in order to do what he knew in his heart was the right thing to do. Today, I propose something unconventional. I propose that we stop looking at Pat Tillman as a man and start looking at Pat Tillman as an idea. Because you know what's great about ideas? They don't die. They don't remain the topic of a summit, the basis of a scholarship, or the justification for veteran-specific legislation. Rather, they inspire, they motivate. They give us the guts to challenge the world as we know it, because we know that the merits of the good idea will become so evident that we no longer need to discuss them, but only follow them in order to achieve the mission to which the idea aspires. I guarantee you that if we do this, if we make Pat an idea, his legacy will ground us and motivate us in the way the best ideas do, the way the idea of honorable military service defines our identity, the way in which our idea of what the Tillman Foundation is and what our connection to it should be, whether that's as a scholar, a sponsor, a supporter, the way the idea of democracy binds us together as a nation and forges us as citizens. I challenge you to be unconventional and take on Pat Tillman as an idea. What is that idea? Nothing more than this. We come together in society, in war, in this very room, because like Pat, we know that we exist to serve a purpose much greater than anything we could individually achieve. We are destined to do more, not for ourselves, but for each other. This could be our alternate scenario. We take on our what's next with an idea that tells us it's no longer about me or you, it's about us. We let the idea give us the courage to serve each other no matter the consequences. We stand up like Pat and we defy everyone. We fight. So here it is, our alternate scenario. Let's take on our what's next the way Pat would. Let's do something unconventional. Let's do something out of line, something that takes guts, something for which we know everyone will doubt us, but for which we also know we must do because our heart tells us as much. Let us, like Pat, give it all up. Let's abandon the normal scenario in which we get good grades and good jobs and justify our scholarships with token service. Let's look at our support for veterans and military families as something more than a way to cater to our constituency. Let's attack our what's next like there is no what's next, but rather a moment in which we exist right now to serve a purpose greater than ourselves. Let us, in the spirit of Pat Tillman, do something unconventional. Thank you, everyone, for coming out today. I want to thank Ben Harper for the video. National Anthem, Sergeant Major, you did phenomenal. Fox Sports Net, Arizona. Our wonderful speakers, Senator Pryor, thank you so much. And to our new scholars, again, congratulations. Thank you, Marie. Thank you.